Welcome to the XS Noize Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Millar. In this episode, I'm joined by Grammy-winning singer-songwriter Cam. If you missed our last episode, I spoke with Peter Kuna and Al McKenzie from D-Ream, so be sure to check it out. And don't forget to follow and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. From her multi-platinum hit, Burning House, to co-writing on Beyoncé's Cowboy, Cam has become one of music's most distinctive voices. Now she's back with All Things Light, her most personal and visionary album yet. Written during early motherhood and the pandemic, it's a journey through big life questions, spiritual discovery, and the mix of country folk and pop. In this conversation, Cam talks about the inspiration behind the album, key tracks, her Grammy win, and what she hopes her daughter Lucy will take from the songs. So let's get into it. This is Cam on the XS Noize Podcast. Hi Cam, welcome to the XS Noize Podcast.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You're about to release All Things Light. How does it feel to finally share it to the world?
Oh, it's been a long time coming, but I'm really intentional about these things. I want to take my time. I want it to feel right, and it finally felt right. It feels like my best work yet, so it's time. It's time to let go.
You've called this your most visionary album. What made this one feel different from your past work?
I got into music like a little bit later than most people. Like I didn't start doing it till I switched out of a psychology research career around 25. And then I've always felt like I'm still learning. Like I feel like a beginner. I didn't have Burning House wasn't, out and doing things till probably 30. So there's something about this album where I feel like I finally am making what I'm hearing in my head. Like my abilities are catching up to my dreams right now. So I think there's an ability level that's sort of met up with where I wanted it to be. And then also I'd say just being a mom in the pandemic and having sort of my whole world just get like shook. I had to sort of by myself go into the studio and like tap into like, what is it I really want to make and really want to write? Because I'm not sure if, I'm not sure of the future anymore. So with all that removed, what do I actually want to make? Just me by myself, and this is it. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned motherhood, becoming a mum. Your daughter Lucy asked, what happens when we die after losing her pet chicken? So how did
Yeah.
that moment shape the album?
I'd say it really pointed to me like I'm dealing with these heavy questions of, I don't know what happens when we die, and she's going to be asking me these things. And for a long time I wasn't raised religious, so I felt like really wonderful way to grow up. I could sort of interact with a lot of different beliefs and practices and try things out and didn't have to fully commit to anything. And then now being older, I feel like I don't know if I have the luxury of just leaving it open-ended anymore. I really wanted something more sturdy as a foundation. And so this album is me like trying to come up with answers. Like in that moment, I told her our bodies get still and our light goes back to the stars. Like I don't think anything's lost spiritually or, scientifically. And that was kind of like the stepping in point of like, okay, what are the other, not answers, but stories and thoughts and feelings that are going to help her navigate the abyss, the
Yeah.
the quest for meaning that we're all in.
You worked at East West Studios and brought in a huge
Yeah.
creative team. What was the vibe like creating the album in that space?
Oh, so cool. Studio 3 is where they did Beach Boys, Mamas and Papas. So it's like the just the sounds automatically in that room when you step in and do very little. That already sounds iconic. So it was a really fun time. Tyler and I have been working together for, my whole career. He's kind of like my brother. And there's times where it's been easier and harder, but this was definitely, it felt so enjoyable. like we just had the best time doing it. And it felt kind of like a sitcom or something. Everybody would sort of come through, like Ethan Gruska or All Day or Michael Uzururu. Everybody would just kind of pop on by, and it felt like, yeah, like a sitcom, like Friends or Seinfeld, where like, oh, hey, how's it going? What are you working on today? Let me help. Let me add something.
Yeah, the album blends country, folk, pop, and more. Did that genre mix happen naturally?
I think so for me because I grew up singing in choirs that sang like, everything from Bulgarian music to Latin masses to, all kinds of sounds and tones. And I grew up loving like soundtracks, that had like a whole mix of sounds. So to me, trying to make sure the sonic, you know, production of a song is just serving the message of the lyrics and the feeling of the concept. That's the point. To me, it's not so much about matching genre rules, but it's very hard. It's easy to say and it's very hard to do to make it still feel like a full cohesive project and make sense to people, but give yourself the freedom to follow whatever sounds you're kind of wanting. So there's like I always joke I really love things that feel warm and dark. And there's something to a lot of this that feels warm and dark, that Tyler specifically just landed in this space that I feel like I'm still, even though I'm swimming in the deeper end of the ocean at this point, I still feel like I know where I am while I'm listening to it. And yeah, it is a blend of all those things, but it still feels, I guess I always feel like it feels inherently country in the writing, just because I think that's peak writing to me is country
Yeah.
music.
The album begins with Turns Out That I Am God, which was inspired by Alan Watts. How did you turn that
Mhm.
concept into a song?
Yeah, I had heard that lecture, and I felt lighter and freer after hearing that. Like, oh my gosh, maybe you're not here on accident, and maybe you're not getting dragged around by some fate that is unknown to you. Maybe you are in the driver's seat. Maybe I am made of the same, divine stuff that everything here is made of. And that just felt so freeing to hear. Um, Especially the times like it starts out with, I was busy waiting for someone to live my life. Like there's been times where I've been more autopilot, and this was like a moment where I was like, oh, no, I want to be here on purpose. And I want to tell myself that I'm doing this. I was made, and I am as holy as everything else that I'm making my way through right now, and I should be purposeful about it. So, yeah, just saying that out loud, turns out that I am God. It feels so good to say. It also feels a little scary because I know even though spirituality is like our, birthright, we're all looking for the answer and the connection. Everybody has a different way of talking about it. And then you don't want to step on anybody's toes. But for me, this is what I needed to hear. And I'm so relieved. Like I've a lot of really religious friends and a lot of different separate religions found this to be really, healing too. So and friends that have left religion found it to be healing too. So it's um yeah, I'm so thankful because it's meant to be something that connects with everybody.
Yeah, it certainly does. I mean, the album is very spiritual. I must ask you about, some of my favorite tracks on it. Let's start with Kill the Guru. What can you tell me about the genesis of that track?
Yeah, oh my gosh, well, the people that say they have all the answers are like the biggest red flag. Like you should run the other way. Like nobody has all the answers. And I met a guru when I was in my 20s, early 20s, and I just fell head over heels for this guy and just was infatuated because that's what we all want, especially when you're lost in your 20s. You're trying to find your identity and your way in life. And this guy seemed like he had it all. And I just totally fell in love with him. And it obviously, that was a sort of a blind moment for me. It did not. And when it ended with him leaving me in Cairo, and I spent a few days that were ended up being magical in Cairo by myself. But that was a difficult lesson learned, and that's something that I want to share with everybody and share with my daughter and just like don't trust people who say I know everything. I know the answer, and let me tell you how the world works. Anybody who
Yeah.
does that, you should just stop listening at that point.
Absolutely. Hallelujah came from the rush back to normal after COVID. What were you feeling when you're writing that? And also, I love the bit. I think it's the middle eight where it just goes like oscillates. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I was really surprised by that. I just love it.
Thank you. Yeah, I know that's where you just like shoot off into space at that point. I think
Yes,
the post-pandemic, it was just like, "Okay, back to normal, everyone." And I think this happens a lot in life where everything looks right, things seem to be in their place, you're doing your rhythm, and you just don't feel right inside. Something feels off, and you can't quite name it, and you're looking for everyone else to sort of name it for you sometimes, like, "Oh, things are wrong, right?" And they're like, "No, everything's fine." And you just gotta listen to that feeling inside that just sometimes there's more to it. Like deep inside, something's not right on the inside, you know? And yeah, Ilse Juber, she had that line, "It don't sound like hallelujah anymore." And I was like, oh, I know exactly what that means to me, that feeling. And I think so many people can relate to that.
I love it. It's probably my favorite track on the album, I have to say.
Hey, nice. I love that.
What song on the album changed the most during the recording process?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, God had the most versions. Turns out that God had the most versions, I'd say, because it was so important to me. I was trying so hard to find the right vehicle to deliver that message because I didn't want it to sound, turns out that I'm God could sound so like, I don't know if braggadocious is the word or like egomaniac. It could sound so weird to say that. So I wanted that to feel like humble. And so that took a lot of tries. And then also, like the song Nevermind, I wrote the verses for that song when I was 24, when I first got into music. And then I finished it with Casey Smith and Ian Fitchuk when I was like 2 years ago. So that, like, I don't know if changed the most, but like it took the longest time to then reach its finish, which I was so thrilled about because I just love those chords. And going back to your earlier question of like, what was this blend? Was this on purpose? And I think the fact that I wasn't trying too hard to fit into any one genre meant I could take something that was so, you know, understated jazzy chords and then make it into something that was a full song because I wasn't trying to fit into anything. It sounds like this ethereal soundtrack of sadness, you know?
Yeah. The album closes with We Always Do, which is a rare moment of optimism. Why end on that note?
I think I needed that the most. And it was like this. Oh, this is my baby coming by saying, "Who are you talking to?" They were speaking about my album. The last song, I think to me, I need radical optimism. I'm a really positive person. And so sometimes people are a little thrown when they hear all these dark songs and they meet me and I'm like a smiley, happy person. But that's my coping mechanism. Like I need to find a way to be positive. And this last song is like it's set up in a relationship because this is how my marriage works too. I have to believe there's a way forward through any conflict. We're going to find something. And you don't always know what it's going to be, but you're going to figure it out. And I feel that way about humanity too. Like you get hit with all these dark headlines that feel like, end of the world every 5 seconds. And I just think humans we're getting better and better all the time. And we really are so imaginative and creative. And we have so much like endless potential inside everyone. I really think we can figure it out. Like I really believe it. And I have to believe it. So the end of the album starts with I was busy waiting for someone to live my life. And the end of the album is try. And I think that's just I'm telling this to myself and whoever else needs to hear this. Like that's all you can do. And that is enough, just to try.
In a few years' time, if your daughter Lucy listens to the album, what do you hope she understands about you and herself from the album?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you got to read the inscription that's inside the vinyl, but I have on the inside of every album a little note to her saying, like, someday when she's older and she's feeling lost, I hope she knows, how lost I felt too. Almost. Go grab him. Here she is in this moment. It doesn't matter.
Good timing.
But there's something about she's gonna feel lost at some point, and I want her to know that I was lost too, and these are the things I took with me, or used to try and figure it out, and I want her to know that, like, she is as holy as the chaos that she's swimming through, and she is God too, and as she's figuring it out, she doesn't get smaller or get afraid. Instead, she, like, plays her part.
I must ask you about the Grammys. You worked on Cowboy Carter, which won Album of the Year. What was that experience like?
Oh my gosh, it was unreal. Like, I can't believe still that it's a real thing. I grew up loving Beyoncé, and I think she's just the fact that she was making a country album that, yes, it was like this history lesson on a lot of country music and where we've been, but then she didn't stick to the format when she was making the album. And that part of it, it was just so, I think at that point, her just stepping out to make something that was so genre expansive to, like, almost take us towards the future. Oh my gosh, like, at the same time that I was really diving inward to try and figure out what I needed to tell my own, like, spiritual framework, like, it was just such divine timing that while I was stepping into myself to sort of go in like, similar way, they called me to work on that album. It just I don't know, it gives me goosebumps right now thinking about it. Like, 'cause everyone's always like, "Things just work out. You don't know how it's gonna work out, but eventually it will." And you're like, "Okay, that kinda sounds like a fairy tale or like some nuts story that people just say when things work out for them." But there really is something to that when you really get back to yourself and you start doing the things that are really true to you. I really do think doors open up for you that are meant for you. And that was what that whole process felt like to me.
Yeah, we have a saying over here. If it's for you, it won't pass you by.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that was.
How does writing for someone else compare to writing for yourself?
Honestly, I wish I was one of those people that had, like, the gymnastics ability to just, like, switch gears and do backflips and stuff. I don't actually. I only have one gear that is, like, I listen with my stomach, and that's where I kinda feel things, and I try and, like, this is gonna sound so, um, woo woo or whatever, but I try and, like, put my little antenna up and listen for, like, signals that are kinda coming through the current of whatever. Like, it comes through art or people talking or being by myself and just, like, it just sort of shows up, and those messages, when they show up, I have a feeling like, "Okay, this is important enough. I can tell it's resonating in my body. I need to figure out how to say it and how to craft something around it." Because it's really hard for me to make music. It's not like, "Oh, I'll sit down and write 20 songs a day." There are people like that, and that is not me. So for me, I have to love it and believe in it enough that I'll spend all the energy figuring out the details of how it's supposed to come out because
Mm.
it just is so hard, and I do the same process for when it's for me or when I've been invited to work for someone else, and just the lucky part about it is I don't do it a ton for other people, but when I'm in those situations, there's like, if there was like a Venn diagram, you see there's me, there's the other artist, and for some reason we overlap at that moment about wanting to say this one thing. And then it works because I don't yeah, I for better or for worse, I don't have the ability to, like, switch voices, really. It's just I think there's
Yeah.
only I just got the one.
Did the Grammy win change anything about how you approached all things like?
It happened after it was pretty much done. So, no, it didn't really, but I would say that it, was encouraging and so reassuring and so inspiring to see something that was to me was very artistic. Like I don't think that album was made to be like easy listening, in my opinion. You could ask Beyonce and see what she thinks, but to me, it feels like art. Like there's so much purpose built into it. It's like kind of impossible to get it all in one listen, which is incredible. And to have something like that then be recognized in like a like somewhat commercial or like mainstream way was really really amazing. So to me it made me feel like okay, I can be thoughtful and I can push boundaries and try new things and I think a lot of times artists, especially in this economy, everybody gets everybody's scared and everybody's trying to be safe about it and just you know make pay their bills, and there's nothing wrong with that either, but, um, obviously, when I'm trying to write an album that's talking about, like, spiritual things, I don't think that's the right way to make that kinda album, and I don't think I've really starting with Burning House, all of it's been a little bit left of center anyway, so, yeah, it was really reassuring to see somebody be in that with those type of lofty goals still come out, with a win.
Well, do you think that their process and that album might influence your music going forward?
Maybe, yeah, because it kind of was a new experience to be around uh how that's done. I would say Nashville, we have like our own kind of set way of doing things, which obviously when it works, it's incredible. And sometimes it doesn't always work. And sometimes also you just need a shift, like I think that's just how us humans are. Like you do something for one way for so many years and it's like it turns out I gotta switch up my bedtime or I gotta switch up my diet or I gotta switch up, so I think there's a new window to looking into it this way. So I think, yeah, it probably will.
You recently played the Tabernacle in London. How did that go, and how much did you enjoy your stay in London?
Oh my gosh, it went so well. Like the UK fans, the European fans, everybody, there's something about the fans over there and how they listen to my music and the way I make music. We all just seem to get each other in this way that it is I feel so much myself. When I'm there, I get to like explain these, big concept ideas and then crack a bunch of ridiculous jokes in between and we're like laughing and crying and like getting goosebumps and singing and it's just like yeah, it's like a stand-up comedy hour mixed with, like, heavy healing music. It's so, I think this is 100% my purpose when I get into these situations, and, I had made a promise that I was gonna come back, to London specifically to do this kind of first round for what's coming up for this album, and I'm glad I made good on it because they were just a fantastic crowd.
You've released 3 albums before, All Things Light. So, when I name each one, if you just give me a quick word or feeling that comes to mind for each. So, we'll obviously start
Uh,
with Heart Forward.
ooh, just figuring it out. That was, like, before getting signed. Oh, yeah, that's not quick word, sorry. Figuring it
No,
out.
you can elaborate all you want.
Oh, that was just me trying to I just got into music. To be honest, I got, like, hooked up with, somebody who ended up not being a great person in the end, which is I think this is how all people start out all their jobs, right? The
Yeah,
first
yeah, yeah.
the first jobs you have, you're like, "Ooh, god, that was rough." But there's still these hints and glimmers, I think, of what I was trying to do and what I was trying to accomplish. So, it wasn't that wasn't it for me, but that was I see the beginnings of trying things out.
Your second album, Untamed, from 2015.
Yeah, that was like to me, that's the first album. Like that was like got signed, really had a shot at making something, spent a lot of years building it up. And yeah, I just think of that album as like also being so terrified. To be honest, I was so scared to reveal myself on such a huge level. And it was at the same time, what a huge blessing to then be so embraced, by so many people.
And the other side.
other side. Oh, I just feel like what a beautiful, like, aching stretch where, like, Diane obviously just, like, such a smash, and Till There's Nothing Left and all these songs, but it all coming out mid, like, amidst a really tumultuous period for me with, like, the label and the pandemic and all the stuff, so I just feel like I'm so proud of it, and also, like, that album was loved in such a beautiful way in spite of, like, all those circumstances, so, yeah, it feels, like, very reassuring too.
I'm going to put you on the spot slightly.
Okay.
If someone wanted to understand your musical identity in just 5 songs, what would you choose?
Ooh, okay, so Burning House, Diane, Turns Out That I Am God, um, I would maybe say Kill the Guru, because you have to have something up-tempo in there, like Pretty Girls, and then maybe Village. You really put me on the spot, so this might not be right, but Village. I feel like there's something about Village that seems to hit people in, like, a really personal way.
Good choices. Good choice. Sorry for putting you on the spot.
That's all right. That's your job.
Music is often the soundtrack to our memories. What song or album from another artist or band brings back the best memories for you personally?
Aw. Honestly, I can remember every single family member telling me, "Listen to these lyrics." Like, they just love watched my whole family light up around the music that they love. So there's something about the thing that they all love that makes me so happy too. But I will say, like, for me personally, um, the Indigo Girls, when I found that retrospective album, I was like, "Oh my gosh, they're talking about things that I wanna talk about, and they're singing in harmonies I wanna sing, and they're playing guitars," and just, like, it really clicked for me that maybe this was something that I could do, and not just, like, my parents' favorite music that I loved and my grandparents' favorite music that I loved.
Finally, if you could go back and relive one musical moment so far from your career, what would it be?
Ooh, wow. You know, what would be kinda fun is to go back to the Brad Paisley tour in 2000 and, oh my gosh, 15 or 16, 15 it must have been. Gosh, so that's like 10 years ago, and that was when Burning House was on the radio, and I had worked so hard doing radio tour and all this stuff, but I didn't really know what it meant on the other side of it, and I remember those first couple shows where all of a sudden everyone knew it. Like, and they all like, I was just the opener, of 3 acts. So, like, I was you had to be there early for me to be there, and all of a sudden, they all in this sports arena started singing along the words to, like, my little, idea. And it was, like it was so crazy, and I think you feel so unsure of what's happening at the moment, and now with the perspective looking back, like, "Oh, wow, that was it, that was the turning point." I think if I could go back and, like, see it with my eyes now, I would probably just cry a lot harder.
Well, that's me done, Cam. Can you let me know what's coming up in the immediate future?
Yeah, I think the album comes out, and then I've got, hopefully some announcements about when I'm gonna come see everybody to play it for them live, but we haven't said it yet, so, yeah, there's some next steps to bringing it back around.
Great, I look forward to that. Hopefully, some more UK
Yay.
shows, maybe Ireland,
Of course, of course. What would be your dream city?
Belfast.
Okay,
That's
I
where I
have
am.
don't worry, I've told everyone I need to be in Belfast because last time I was there, which was maybe 2000 and what year would that have been? Oh my god, it was you guys are insane. Like, it was so fantastic because 'cause I'd never been to Belfast before, ever in my life. Showed up, it was kinda like a theater setup, and it was the most fun, rowdiest crowd that were just so hyped on this show. Oh my god, it was so fun. So, yeah, no, I've already told everyone that Belfast needs to be a part of it, so fingers crossed everybody the team does their job.
Well, I will definitely be at that one. Absolutely.
Good.
Well, Cam, thank you very much.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
so wonderful talking to you.
yeah, it's been really good. I really, really love the album, and yeah, I wish you all the success with it. And yeah, can't wait to see you in Belfast. Hopefully, not too long.
Deal. Thank you so much.
Okay, have a nice day.
You too. Talk to you later.